Hello Hopscotchers from sunny California. My name's Emily and I'm going to show you how to make a quiz. In this lesson, we're going to learn all about values and conditionals. The first thing we're going to need to do for this quiz is to make a plan. So I've put the questions and answers for my quiz in this chart. Across the top are the 3 questions I'm going to ask. And down the side are the 3 results that I'm going to give. So take some time and plan your quiz, fill in this table. You can pause this video and come back when you're ready. Well, I'm ready, and I'm going to make my quiz about which emoji are you? So let's get started putting the text where they need to be. I'm going to make a new text object and have that be the title of the quiz. I'll put that at the top. Great. Next, we need a new text object, and I'm just going to write down question in here because we're going to change this based on what the question is. Okay, and then I'm going to need some answers. So I will start with answer A here, and then I'm going to need answer B underneath it. Then, you guessed it, answer C. So this is the bones of the quiz. What we're going to need to do now is make it so that the questions and the answers can change as you go along the quiz. We're going to do that with values. A value or variable is a holder for a number. And once you make a variable, you can set it and change it and check what it is and even use it in events. Values are super useful for programming, and we use them every day. The title text, I'm going to make that the boss of my program. So we'll add a new rule and say when the play button is tapped, and then if you go down and see the Values tab, it's yellow. When you open it up, it has 2 things in it, set value and increase value. You always want to set your value first. So I'm going to drag in set value. And when I do that, it opens up this pane to ask me which value do you mean? What value? And if you tap on this gray arrow, you can see this is a list of all of the characters or sprites that are already in your program. If we go back here, a special one is the iPad's values, and that's the sort of central place to put all the things you want to keep track of. So tap down here in this bubble that says new value. We're going to create a value for the question number. So now we can drag this over here into this first bubble. So it says set value question number to 0, which is the default. But I don't want it to be 0, I want it to be 1 because I want to start with question 1. So I'm going to tap in there and change that to 1. There are some other values we want to keep track of though, and that is how many A's and B's and C's we've picked. So we're going to make 3 new values at the same time here. The way we do that, remember, is you set the value, and I'm going to make a new value called A answers and set that to 0. 0 is good. And now we'll need one for B answers. So set value, make a new value, B answers, and then set that to 0. And then we're going to make a C answers. Set value, new value, C answers, set value C answers to 0. Okay, so now we know these values start out at these numbers. Question number starts out at 1. So now let's make it show question 1. X out of there and tap on the question. We're going to add a new rule. And if you only have 3 rules up here, tap more because we're going to go into the awesome events. These are my favorite down here. If you go the last 4, say equals, not equals, smaller than, and bigger than. And these are the really powerful value events. We're going to choose equals. We're trying to check when the question number equals 1. So go into your Values tab, and go over until you find the iPad's values where we've made these here. And question numbers there at the bottom, when question number equals, and then change that to 1. We want to set the text to the first question from our table. So that's set text in the green looks and sounds menu, and then you can just type in whatever text you need for your first question. Now the next step is to show the answers for question 1 when question number equals 1. So we'll edit and go into answer A, add a new rule for answer A. We're going to find our awesome values events here. When question number equals 1, just like before, then we'll go into green and do set text to our first answer. And feel free to change the color of the text to anything you want, just by pressing in the bubble and choosing a color. So let's edit and do the same thing for answer B. Add a new rule. When equals question number equals 1, looks and sounds, set text to whatever your second answer is. And we'll do the same thing for answer C. When question number equals 1, set text to your answer. So let's test that and see. We have our question 1 and we have each of our answers A, B, and C for question 1. Now what should happen when the user taps one of these answers? It should keep track of which one they tapped, right? So let's go in and add that. Go to answer A and add a new rule. And this is the tapping rule, so go up in your events and get when character is tapped. There you go, it should say when answer A is tapped. And here's where we're going to change the value that we've already set. So go into the Values tab and choose Increase Value. Now we're going to increase the A answers by 1. So that makes sense, right? Every time answer A is tapped, it should increase the number of A answers by 1. Let's do the same thing for answer B. Add a new rule. When character is tapped, increase the value for the B answers by 1. And then we'll need to do the same thing for C. When character is tapped, increase the value C answers by 1. Okay, now let's test our program. And I can tap on each of them, and probably it's increasing, but I can't tell. So I'm going to show you how to see your values. This isn't something you probably want in your finished quiz, but it's a really good thing to have in as you're developing it, so you can debug and find where your mistakes are. Let's add some more text objects. And you don't have to set them with anything. You can just cancel when you make them, so they'll be kind of ghost text. So I'm going to have a text object for what answer A, B, and C are currently equal to, and also for what question I'm on. So let's add a new rule to the first text. When the play button is tapped, then we're going to set text to, and here's the cool thing about values, you can go into the Values tab here next to Calculator and find all of the values that currently exist in the app and use it to set the text to. So if you choose question number here, it will set the text to whatever the question number is. And if you wanted to do that over and over again and keep updating through the app, you'll have to put it in a loop. So it says repeat forever, set text to question number. So let's do that for the answers as well. Add a new rule to the next text. When the play button is tapped, repeat forever, set text to the A answers. Great. And this one is the B answers. When the play button is tapped, repeat forever, set text to B answers. And here, when the play button is tapped, repeat forever, set text to C answers. Okay, and let's test it. So now anytime I tap one of these answers, it increases the score for that answer, which is exactly what we want. But you see the question number isn't increasing yet, so that's the thing we have to do next. So let's go into the answers here and find where it does when answer A is tapped. Right now we're just increasing the value for the score of the answers you picked, but we also want to increase the value of the question number. So let's make sure we do that for all of our answers. Go in and edit the rule you've already written and add increase value question number by 1. And in answer C, we will increase the value question number by 1. Great, let's test that. So now every time I hit one of these, it increases the value for the answer I've picked, and it also increases the question number. Great, now that we have the question number increasing, we can advance what the question says. So we can go into question, and you see here we already have the rule when question number equals 1. Now we're going to need it when question number equals 2. So let's add a new rule and go down to our awesome events and find equals and the values question number equals 2. Great. Now you just add whatever your text for your second question is. And while we're at it, we might as well add when question number equals 3. And then looks and sounds, set your text to whatever your third question is. Let's go into answer A, and we see we have a when question number equals 1 rule. We're going to need to add when question number equals 2. And set the text to whatever answer A is for question 2. And now we can add one for question 3. When question number equals 3, then the A answer will set the text to whatever the A answer is for question 3. Okay, now move on to answers B and C and fill them in from your chart. So it's time to write the most important part of the quiz, the results. I'm going to make the title text show you the results when you're done. So let's click on the title and add a new rule. And now this happens whenever you've run out of questions. So we're going to get the bigger than event and say when the question number is bigger than 3. Okay, so this is if the question number equals 4, or 5, or 6, or anything bigger than 3. It means you should show the result. Okay, so the thing here is we're showing different text depending on what the result should be. So we've got to do some checking first, and we do checking with conditionals. A conditional checks if something is true before it does the code. And you can find them down in control flow, the blue menu here. Get yourself a check once if. And you see how this is shaped like a loop? It's going to check once if the thing inside the bubble is true, and if it is, then and only then is it going to run the code inside it. So we're going to check if the A answers are more than the B answers. So get the bigger than, and we'll go into the values tab, get the A answers for the first bubble, and the B answers for the second bubble. So if A is bigger than B, that's great, A is currently winning, but we're also going to have to check whether A is also bigger than C. So you can get yourself another check once if and put it inside this other one. Get yourself another bigger than and check if A answers is bigger than C answers. And if it is, then your result is A. So we'll set the text for whatever your A result is. So that's if the result is A. Next, we're going to have to check if the result is B. Go back into control flow, find yourself a check once if, and we're going to put this at the very bottom. We're going to get a bigger than, and now check if the B answers are bigger than the A answers, and check again to see if the B answers are bigger than the C answers. Okay? And in this case, B is your answer, so you're going to set the text to whatever your B result is. Great. A done, B done. The next is C. So we'll check once if the C answers are bigger than both of the other ones. And then set the text to your C result. Maybe I should say set the position to the middle of the screen. Okay, that's cool, but I think we should also make the questions and the answers disappear when I finished with the quiz. So remember when we did up here, when question number is bigger than 3, we can just do that same thing for the answers. Add a new rule. When the question number is bigger than 3, then disappear. So set invisibility to 100. And we'll do that for all the other ones too. Now let's check the quiz. I'm good at telling jokes, I like to hang out at the pool, and I would move to Mars. Hooray! So now you have everything you need to make an awesome quiz. You know all about values, that they're a holder for a number, and that you can set them and change them and check what they are. You know all about conditionals, which are for checking values before you execute the code inside them. Good luck out there, Quizmasters, and have fun.